Right, guys. Okay, this is an introductory lecture to third year technology. What I want to do this year with you guys is I want you to produce a full set of submission stroke working drawings. So what's the difference between a submission and a working drawing? Well, working drawings are submission drawings plus other drawings that council don't need, like electrical layouts, details, that sort of thing. You should know this by now, but I've discovered that usually guys don't. So I'm going to say it again. If you've heard it before and it's a repeat, just bear with me. Your technical documentation is a form of communication. It is like speaking a language. When you speak a language, you speak things that the person who is hearing them understands. If I say the word door, I pronounce a number of sounds. In my head I've got a picture of the door. It comes out of my mouth, it goes to you, and in your head you have a picture of a door. So you need to remember that when you do working drawings, they need to be in a system that everybody uses and everybody knows. That way the builder or the town planner or whoever's looking at your drawing can read it and understand what's there. So don't say to me, well, I don't like the way they used to do it, I'm going to do it in flowery letters, or I'm going to do this. It's like saying, well, I'm not going to speak English, I'm going to speak Greek because that's what I want to speak, and then you're surprised that people don't understand you. Okay, that's that out the way. So let's look at pen lines. Guys, pen lines and pen thicknesses are your friends. Use them. Okay. I went to university and I learned to do with actual pens, not computer stuff. So the very, very thin pen line, which we used to occasionally tattoo ourselves with. I don't know if I've still got some tattoos from. You're doing this, and the next minute it's in your hand. Pen line, we had 0.18. Now they're saying 0.15. Very thin line. That should only be used for things like hatching and very other light things. Pen line 1, that's your pen line 2, that's your standard pen. Okay, it's 0.25 of a millimeter thick. We generally draw it in white because back in the day the Rotring pens were white. Pen line 3 is 0.35. It's a slightly thicker pen. That's used for when you start to cut through things like cupboards and stuff like that, but we'll talk about them in more detail. Pen line 4, we used to have 0.5. They say 0.45, 0.5. We always wrote in yellow because a Rotring yellow pen was the 0.5 of a millimeter, and that is for thicker things like walls, sections through walls. Pen line 5 is 0.7, so that's your thickest one really, and that is for concrete, sections through concrete or really big text. Now what we used to say, and it's not written here, is that you should use one pen up for whatever text you're using. So 2.5 millimeter text, you should use a pen 3 or 0.35 of a millimeter. Most text on your drawings should be 0.25. The minimum is 0.2. If I have any of you submitting anything to me that's smaller than 0.2, I'm going to flip and throw a fit. Okay, I'll use it for my dog's breakfast or something. Where was I? Pen, slightly bigger letters, like a 0.35 of a millimeter, which is like for room names, for example. You use a 0.45 or 0.5, pen 4. That's the thickness of the actual text. When you get to slightly bigger text, like 0.5 millimeter text, then you use a 0.7 millimeter pen, etc. Then now with modern technology, we've got other pens. What we have is we have invisible lines, especially this blue line. and you write stuff on the drawing that you don't want printed, but you want to remind yourself. You might want to put a little note about something to remind yourself for later. Or you want to draw the position of the existing, grand piano, which is not going to be there, but you just want to remember that it's there at the moment. So that's what's nice for computers. You can use an invisible line on your drawing, which is not printed out. Then there's hatching, or text, or different types of dashes. Beams above are usually dotted like that. Windows are that. Hatch is that it looks invisible here. It's a very I usually use sepia. Sepia is a type of brown. In the old days you used to have a sepia brown, which is quite nice. Or otherwise you have another hatch there. Doors are usually a pen line 2. Roof line is usually a sepia dotted. You can hardly see that again. Text, well, I said to you what size text that's a pen line 2, but slightly bigger text you can go up with pen line 3, pen line 4. Grid lines, dot dash, dot dash. Contours are solid. I think contours you can also use sepia for, actually. Demolish, I can't even see what this is, but I think it's a dotted sepia. Furniture and fittings, well, there they've got a pen line 6, which is a very thin pen. Again, it needs to be small and light. You don't show furniture and fittings actually, or furniture, for submission drawings. That's more for design drawings. Sewer lines, stormwater lines, walls are a pen line 4, that's what I told you, and low height walls, which you're looking, because remember your plan is a section through the building that way. See, that way. Right, people. So let's get on to an actual submission drawing. This might take a while to load up. Okay, site plan. Guys, that's how you draw a title. If you've got 4 or 5 different drawings on one sheet of paper, each one should have a title. The name of it, site plan, you see it's a bigger text and it's a thicker pen line. Underneath it, the scale. You can do a little circle like that in a line, I don't care, copy it, that's fine. Make it something that people know. Okay, there's property boundary for your site. Little circle at the points where there is there should be, a little steel post driven into the ground by the land surveyor. Okay, there's the proposed building. On a site plan, all you need is the building hatched. Because what you've got in a site plan are contours and things like building lines. So there's your boundary. Boundaries should have dimensions on. There's your building line. Building lines must be named. And the width, that's a 2 meter building line because that's 2 meters wide. That's a servitude, not actually a building line. So what's a servitude? Well, a servitude is usually where pipes are. Occasionally they're right-of-way servitudes, which means the neighbor can use it and drive through your property. But for now, that's what it is. Guys, trees. When we have our discussion time, if you want to ask me questions, please feel free to do so. Here's your sewer lines. You can see your sewer lines going all the way to a manhole and then off your property. That manhole should, somewhere you should have a cover level and invert level for that manhole. You should have a sewer section somewhere on your property, on your page, sorry. Okay, ramps. There's a ramp, parking bays. Guys, for banks, a bank should have a long line, a short line, a long line, a short line. That shows you that's the top of the bank, that's the bottom of the bank. Again, it's the right thing to do. Have a north point, please, people. North point. Every single drawing plan that you do needs a north point. Your property, your adjacent sites should be mentioned. Earth. A site plan isn't necessarily a setting out plan, but if it is, you should have dimensions from those little metal corner beacons to the corners of your building, so the building can come and can set out the building accurately. Water meter, electrical substation, anything else that's of interest on the whole site. Okie dokie, let's move across, we're running out of time here, to a plan. let's go downstairs first. This is a house I designed, which in fact a friend of mine lived in for quite a long time. Him and his family. Line weights, people. Hatching, thin line weights. So you've got hatching here, hatching here. If the entire house is new, you don't need to hatch the walls in. You know they're hatching for a wall. It's a big gap, a diagonal, a small gap, a diagonal, a big gap, a diagonal. You don't have to, because everything is new. It's only when there's adds and alts that you need to do that. This is wrong. I don't like a UP at the beginning of the stairs. Why? Because if you look at it from the other way, what is UP? It's DN. So just leave it off. Okay, your arrows on all staircases should go up. This is a break line. Remember, your stairs will actually go up and higher, and your section and plan, it'll eventually go above that. You need to show what's below your stairs, and here below the stairs is actually a little room. There should be a door there. Otherwise, you can hide dead bodies there. Yeah, line weights, guys. Remember, for your windows, have a double line and have a sill. Your window sill should pop out of the plane. See them? They're ahead there. I remember getting shouted at by my boss once. Rainwater downpipes. Show them. Show dotted lines to proposed soak pits. Show your rotting eyes. Your sewer lines need to go to gullies. Gullies pick up rotting eye 1, rotting eye 2, rotting eye 3. Those got to be numbered, because there's going to be a section and they need to be cross-referenced. Where there's a wall that's low, like that wall there, it's in a lighter pen line than the thicker wall that's in section. That is a retaining wall, so it's thick. You see each room should have the name of the room. You don't have to have the square meters, but it's a good idea to have it. And floor finish. Each room should have a floor finish. Now levels, guys. I always find students especially don't put enough levels. Everywhere where there's a potential change in level, you must put a finished floor level. There's a number there. There's a number there. You need to know that there's a step between there and there. That's a fireplace, Jetmaster fireplace. Your windows. Each window should be named. So there's different ways of doing windows. Some people have windows, if the window is the same as the other one, they just call it the same thing. Other people you might have window type A or window type AC1, and then underneath it you might have 3. It says 1, 2, and 3, so the builder can tell the difference. Anyway, that's for personal preference. Rainwater pipes. Okay, guys, this is what I want from you. I'm going to give you a tut, and your tut is to do me a floor plan and show me that you can do one. Oh, and another thing, guys, when you do your dimensioning, okay, this is maybe a bit too far away. It needs to be a bit closer. You dimension walls. You do not dimension windows. Okay, so that there is that little wall there. That there is that little wall there. That there is that little wall there. The builder wants to know, windows are nearly always central, so don't dimension that piece of wall because it's to a window. Just leave it. The builder will know where to put the window. Okay. But your dimension text should be clearly visible. It should be off the line. You can have up to 3 layers of text of dimension lines. This is how they should look. They should be in line. You should have little dots or little lines like that. And these leaders, the longer ones, should face where it's going. That's how you read what it is. Okay, overall, and then splits, and then even more split. These are actually a bit far away. See, there's 4 of them. There's different dimensions for different things because there's a kink there. You can see there's a beam over, lintel over to engineer's detail. Fire door. When you have to go a step down into a garage, guys, you should know that by now. Porch, lintel over. There's a lintel coming over there, and there's a lintel coming over there. Section lines, guys. That's what a section line looks like. It's big and thick, and it goes there, and it goes there. Put them in. There's your bottom of the stairs. There's the top of the stairs. You can see because the arrow goes all the way up. Your stairs should have numbers. 16 risers and 15 treads. Why are there different numbers? Well, you work it out. Okay. Guys, get in the habit of putting little, what do you call them? Ducts to hide your sewage pipes and stuff. If you're a good architect, you'll do that. Okay. Any more questions? This is the level and the quality I want. Time is up. Cheers, guys. We'll chat later.